I'm Samson Tsegaye, country director of an international NGO in Ethiopia, based in Freiburg, Germany. We work in Ethiopia on solar home system projects.
And can you just describe this project you're working on a little bit further?
Okay, Ethiopia is with about 92 million people population, and from this 80% of the total population live in a rural area and the countryside without electricity. And we, Solar Foundation, the founder is Dr. Tsegaye. He's from Freiburg, Germany. He used to be CEO of a big solar company, but he quit his job and he established his charity organization called Stiftung Solar Energie. And with this NGO, he came to Ethiopia to bring light for the rural people by using solar technologies. I am leading this group since 2005 in Ethiopia. And so far, we installed about 30,000 solar home systems for the rural people, and a different approach, sustainable approach we call it, because as we are NGO, the experience is giving for free and run away. Most NGOs doing that way, but we establish a special arrangement with the community that they have to save a small amount of money every month for the use for lighting. We build a solar system in their house, but they have to save this small amount of money to replace the next equipment like battery, lamp or something like that. And with this approach, we are now on about 7 years, and so they are able to pay for their battery from their saving. So we own the system always. We told them this because we don't want to show them that NGOs always giving for free. And so they have to understand what a sustainable approach means. So with this approach now as I said, I explained before, we install about 30,000 solar home systems, different size. And we also established the first solar training center, solar technician training center in a village called Rema. And we train 62 solar technicians from vocational schools who are electricity background, who have electricity background. We train them 6 months on technology, project management, customer handling, and all this, and we employ them, and they're working for us for the past 7 years, and they gain a lot of experience, and now they are able to start their own business.
Okay. And what are the consequences for the consequences, but the things the people with the electricity now in the home can do? Do they just say, oh, okay, it's useful for some things, or do they really like it and use it, and for what do they use
yes,
it?
of course. The first days it was not easy to initiate the interest or the activity on this kind of activities because they were a little bit hesitated or not understand what kind of crazy technology. It's just from sun. But sometimes they even refuse to take it, but we push them to take it. And normally everyone says kids can study in the evening, they can have more time, mothers can do something more in the evening. These are the basic change from them, but for the people who are doing business, this really changed their income because, for example, shops used to close at 6 o'clock after dusk, after sunset, but now they can work more, they extend time, they work until 10 o'clock like this, so make more money. Mothers, they do a lot, they are responsible for the family mostly, they have to fetch water, they have to collect wood, they have to cook for the family and do some cleaning work, and then in the evening, they are tired, but they have still time, at least to relax a little bit with the family, and this changed a lot. And if I tell you a story for family, the first days when we installed a solar home system for one small tuku, to call this small grass house, it was difficult to move inside the house because they're very small and full of sacks of grain inside. It was good for us to climb up and to stand on it and fix our lamps, but it was not organized. But after a year, I visited this family and I saw it's a little bit different. organized, well set up. And I asked them, what's wrong today? What happens? And they said, you see, Samson, some years ago, at 6, when it gets dark, we just go in and go to bed, sleep. We don't have a chance to see what's going on inside in the house. But today, in the evening, we had the time to sit, the family can sit and discuss, and even I can tell my son or my daughter, please put this one here and there. That's why we are organized now. This is a change which you cannot measure it in number, but it's really a social change, I can say. So many business growing, many shops open these days in this village, and the technology is only solution for them. Otherwise, they have to use kerosene lamp. Kerosene is dangerous in many ways. Kids can burn with fallen kerosene lamp, houses burned with that, and a dangerous smoke from it, and even difficult for them to access it because they have to walk a long distance to find the shops to buy. But for them, we have got gifted power, solar power, so they have to enjoy this, and this is the only solution for them.
Okay, thank you.
For me, things happen for a reason. Then they invite me to come to Germany. They pay for a train, arrange everything, and then just next morning I came to Germany. And this was the time for the big solar fair, Intersolar, and my friends told me just if I'm interested to go there and see it. And I was surprised when I see this fair. And it was a 3-day, I remember, and it was not enough for me to see it because in Ethiopia we're talking a lot about sun, and we buy umbrellas, not solutions like this. And then what I heard also in Germany, part of the year, maybe 3-4 months, no sun. But in Ethiopia, we always say we have 13 months of sunshine. Do you know that we have 13 months in Ethiopia? No?
You have a full month. 10 days?
No. 5. That is 30 days each full for the 12 months, and 5 remain, sometimes 6 on linear here. And we have the 13 months, and we can say we have every time sun. Okay, that was the start for me, and I asked myself, yeah, I know that our rural people live in really darkness, and they really don't know what available solutions for their life. And I come home, and I start asking myself, and I start understanding what this technology can do for our people, what it costs, and something like that. And I start checking or discuss with the people who are working on this technology in Ethiopia. There were only few companies. They just do it beside their business, and they're working for tenders for telecom, not for rural people. And I started that way. I established my small NGO, and just to bring some. But it was a bit difficult because the people in Ethiopia don't know anything about this, and even from the government programs, there was no any program for kind of technology. It was a bit to bring it in the field, but I started it anyway. And in 2004, again my start is from here. Dr. Tsegaye, the founder of Solar Energy Foundation, he just quit his CEO, his job. He was the CEO of a big solar company, and he just established this charitable organization. And immediately he got a request from Ethiopia to find a solution for a small village. And this small village, just beside the bigger village, this bigger village gets a generator. And the small households, like 30 households, was not possible to connect them with generator. So they asked him to come and find a solution. And he was looking for someone in Ethiopia. That was me. He found me, and we started it in 2004, and we installed a very big system for a small tukul. It was a 60-watt panel, 11-watt CFL lamp, and maybe one tukul, one lamp is enough And that was really big system because we don't have any experience with the technology and the actual need from the rural community. And then after just a few months, just like 2 or 3 months, next neighboring village called Rema, which I'm talking more about it, a request for energy, for electricity, and they get offer from an NGO working in this area to provide them a generator. They say no. We saw something different just beside the generator, because the generator offered only 3-hour light electricity every day, and they told me there is no on-off switch because it's controlled by the operator. They on at 6:30 or 7, they off at 9, finish. No need to have on-off switch there. So they said the other guys, the other group with the new technology, they have 24-hour electricity. So we want that. They said, okay. Then this is what I said a little bit. In Ethiopia, about 80% lives in the rural area. Of the total population, we are about 92 million now. And from this, only close to 2% have access to electricity. Maybe you understand what access means. It's not connection also. If the cable passes a village, that is access in some cases, in some areas, in some villages. So the fuel cost, the kerosene price was like $0.50 some years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's almost $1 plus. And this is really difficult for the rural people even to buy it and also access it, because they have to walk a long distance to get it. So sometimes just after dark, after 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., no light. For me, this is the only solution for them. I tried different solutions like wind or geothermal. These all are not working for these people. For me, solar is the only solution for a light normally. Sorry. The gap is really big. The gap was really big at the time. The people in the rural area, they don't know anything about the possible alternatives, solutions for them. But on the other side, everything is there. And there was a big gap. The business companies who are working in the big cities, it's not profitable for them to go there and sell their products. And so they still lack this need. So we came to Rema with different approach. Maybe I mentioned it, I don't know. The NGO established or registered in Ethiopia, but we don't want to follow the experience other NGOs had before, because as you know, NGOs mostly collect money from Europe or America, then throw it somewhere and put it on a newspaper and disappear. For me, this will not work for technology. For bread, okay. When there is a disaster or something, okay. But for kind of technologies, there should be some sustainable approach and way. It was a big challenge for us to sign this agreement with the government, and even to convince the people or the community to tell them to pay a little bit money for the system we brought. Because they said, you are NGO, why are you asking money? We can't tell them the experience because no one did before, so it was a big challenge. But if you want this is a rule. And in Rema, the village called Rema, about 2,200 households. We provide them a 4-lamp system. They can power radio, and there was no mobile phone at the time. We told them to save very small amount of money every month, and this money can go to replace the next battery. But I was illegal to tell them that the system owner is me, because as an NGO I have to give it and run away. But I told them this is mine. They signed, I signed, and but you have to save. And the system we provide them has a charge controller, which is controlled with a remote control. So if they don't save this, the community leaders who collect the money inform to the technicians, local technicians who are trained by us, and they just off from outside, no need to fight going inside. So the next day they complain. Even in the evening, if we off the system at 6 o'clock, they come at midnight because they don't want to spend the night without light after they have it. So with this approach, we are really successful. I can say now it's almost 7 years, and they are able to pay for the battery from their saving. They don't have any pay. Easy for them. Now they appreciate our approach, and they are happy with that because they don't have to look their pocket to pay this much money, big money, to replace a battery. They are happy with that. The next advantage from this is now in Rema, grid comes, the grid power comes, and they say, Samson, don't come to us. Don't ask the system to take it back. And I say, no, you have now power, so we have to bring this to other village and they can benefit. They say, no, we know that it's not sustainable, it's not, it's like blackouts every, maybe. They get 2 days light from the grid, but from solar they say, I am the manager of my light, my power, so we want to keep it, and I asked them to sign an agreement to keep it, to use it for the next 5 years, and just to check, to test them if they are really in need of it. The next day morning was long queue to sign. I was really very happy with that. So they signed, and now I have a new agreement with them for 5 years. And this is the first approach for Rema as a Light for Education project. 2,200 households get individual solar pump systems at 10 watt. And the village gets a solar water pumping system there, and water disinfection system, a street light. We use this village as a pilot now, and we also established our training center, solar technicians training center also in this village. We train technicians for 6 months, which is long for many groups, and say very long, but for me, as the technology is every day changed, even 6 months is not enough, because they have to understand the real interest of the customer, our customer. I will say something about that in the next. From this walk, you can see these kids. It's not deliberately taken picture. It was just from the village I took it, and because they don't have a chance in the evening to go home and do their homework. So before the sunset, they have to do it outside. Even in the house, most houses, most schools, they don't have windows, and so no light coming to walk inside. They walk in. And from the water supply, they used to walk about 5 kilometers to fetch water from the valley, but now they have it close to their house. And this is a training center we built in Rema, the village. This is the only house with stone in Rema, and the trainings we provide for technicians who are graduated on electricity from vocational schools. We train about 62 technicians. We employed them because there was no market for them. We employed them, and they used to work for us. And we are now trying to create a market for them. The second approach, the next approach we changed to revolving fund. With this revolving fund, we don't give the system for free, but they have to pay it in an installment basis. This is what we need. For the people, everyone says expensive, but expensive in a sense is, yes, for the people who don't understand it, yes, it's expensive, but in the long run, no expense for it. So we have to find a solution for that. We produce a kind of system like credit system. A charge controller help us. Is working with RFID card, and they pay with the card. After they pay, we activate the card for them. They just activate the system. So since we give a 5-year, 3-year, 2-year loan, we never had a default for that. These are the areas now we are active in Ethiopia, in many places. We install about 30,000 different solar sizing systems, and this is a small number, but the impact created from our approach is really great. The upper one is Ashton Award, and we got also Global Energy Award 2013. It's a Dr. Harald cycle. He's from Freiburg also. And here President Clinton came to Rema, a solar village, and he visited us. I have a nice picture with him. Before I say thank you, I have to say something. This is a group I have now, and this is the second training center. We built it in Addis Ababa now. It's a big compound, a solar valley we call it. We copied from Germany. But, these are the groups I have. Just to say one point, for me, some groups say price, some groups say product, but for me, for different levels, as someone here says before, it's not a question of price or product, but for me, trust is important for the people, for the lower people. We have to create trust first to provide them what we want. They pay for the product if they trust you, no problem for that. The trust is important, and the other thing is to understand the real interest of them, not by creating by us the richest people or the educated people and come with something and show them this is important for you. No. We came with a small solar lantern the first days, assembled it in Ethiopia, and we brought them, this is a light for your house, and okay, it's good, but don't you have a little bit bigger one? Okay. I thought you can't afford. They said, it's not your business. We can pay, but bring us a little bit bigger. So this is what we need for rural electrification. I think this is enough. Thank you so much.